Hey everybody, welcome back to my book chat channel. So this is another book review. This is going to be sort of a two-in-one book review, as I'm doing a review on a series and not just an individual book. So I'm doing the November series, the Killing November and Hunting November by Adriana Mather. I hope I pronounced her last name okay. So as per usual, I'm going to jump into the synopsis for each book and then go from there. I'm going to kind of do both as an overall opinion and not separate the two. So we're just going to go from one book to the other and just go from there. Okay, so Killing November. It's a school completely off the grid, hidden by dense forest and surrounded by traps. There's no electricity, no internet, and an eye-for-eye punishment system. Classes include everything from knife throwing and poisons to the art of deception and historical analysis. And all of the students are children of the world's most elite strategists, training to become assassins, counselors, spies, and master impersonators. Into this world walks November Adley, who quickly discovers that friends are few in a school where personal relations are discouraged and competition is everything. When another student is murdered, all eyes turn to November, who must figure out exactly how she fits into the school's bizarre strategy games before she is found guilty of the crime or becomes the killer's next victim. So that's the synopsis for book 1. And then jumping right away into the synopsis for book 2, Hunting November. Surviving a few weeks at the world's most lethal boarding school was one thing, but now comes the real test. Can November Adley find her missing father before her enemies find her? Subterfuge is the name of the game in this thrilling sequel to Killing November. After surviving a crash course in espionage at the mysterious academy, November has only one purpose: finding her missing father. Along with fellow student and heartthrob Ash, November follows the clues that her father left, embarking on the deadliest treasure hunt of her life. The first clue is in her hometown, where old friends beckon and unexpected enemies lurk around every corner. The second clue is in Europe, where relations about her family's history will plunge her into international web of deception, lies, and intrigue. The third clue is deep in enemy territory, surrounded by the most skilled assassins and master strategists, and where everyone wants her and her father dead. Can one girl with limited training infiltrate a centuries-old organization that is powerful enough to topple empires? November only knows that she'll do whatever it takes to save her father or die trying. So that is the synopsis for book 1, Killing November, and book 2, Hunting November. So jumping right into it, I really enjoyed both books. When I read the first one last year, and then the newest one, or the second one, came out a few months later, around March or so. Sorry, May, I stand corrected, staring at the date. Anyway, and I read the first one in amongst a group of other readers through a book club, and I was introduced to this story, and then ended up really enjoying the characters. I really enjoy the artwork of the covers. It kind of reminds me somewhere between the interesting setup of Hunger Games and then the look of the Addams Family is kind of how I would describe the book cover. And that's kind of how the book feels too. There's a lot of this Hunger Game vibe-ish when it comes to all the different classes and things that she ends up taking and learning, and all the different skills that she's got available to develop. And then with the dark and gloomy and the medieval Gothic style of it all, reminds me a lot of the Addams Family and how they all dress and set up and whatnot. So, not that that's a bad thing whatsoever, it's just my interpretation of the book cover and how things are described. So, I really enjoyed the world building and the characters, and I really enjoyed the different perspectives from everybody, because they bounced from character to character, and it was in a smooth transition. It wasn't choppy at all. And it gave small insights to what was going on based on those people's perspectives. And I thought it was done really rather well. I really enjoy the academy and how everything was built and all the different situations that went along with that. And then of the two books, I enjoyed the second one way more. Once she gets outside the school and she's searching around for her dad, all the things that she ends up being exposed to and learning, opening up her eyes to the world around her, or rather the new world that she is being pushed into and didn't realize that she was a part of, even from a kid, just done subtly. All really rather fascinating to me. So the second one for me is a little bit more interesting, as it was done in sort of a, as they said, a scavenger hunt type style, and I really rather enjoyed watching things unfold and watching her figure things out. So for me, the stories overall are a 5 out of 5, if only because at the end of the day, I would find myself rereading this series. And I would love to see more come from this series. There's so many different parts of it that another story could be made out of. You know, the history of her parents could be a separate story altogether. Maybe dive into a futuristic thing with some of the different characters. And I'm a sucker for a love story, so even though it was done subtly, it was done well, and I like that little bit added into it. So the fact that they did that, they could take that into a whole other story as well. So I would love to read more surrounding around this world, but again, I would happily reread this book, and I thought it was well done. The ending wasn't just cut, snip, and tie. It was had a nice lead up and a nice finish. So I would definitely recommend this book to anyone who enjoys a little bit of everything, a little bit of mystery, a little bit of espionage, a little bit of thriller, um, and just a touch of romance with all the different relations and people connecting. Um, yeah, so that is my take on Killing November and Hunting November. If you've read these books, I'd love to know what your thoughts are in the comments. And if you haven't, are you planning on picking up this book? Does this sound interesting at all to you? Would love to know. And at the end of all that, I'd say have a wonderful weekend, and I hope you all have a fantastic Halloween. Happy reading, everybody.